and welcome to my channel. So in today's video, I want to share 6 ways that I overcame my back injury using the law of attraction techniques. So in early 2017, I think it was actually February, I was in New York City. At the time, I was super into the fitness scene there. I was going to workout classes all over the city and posting it all over Instagram. And I ended up having a back injury that set me back so far that I basically wasn't able to bend over without it actually hurting my back, and my physical therapist actually told me to avoid bending over, which was really frustrating because it's kind of just difficult to live like that. And even just little things like when I dry my hair, I actually flip my head over and use a diffuser, and so I couldn't do that without being in pain. So I would actually lay across my bed just so that I wasn't actually bending over, just so I could flip my hair over a little bit and get the diffuser into it. It was also the same time when I was actually separated from my now ex-husband, and it was actually really devastating at the time because for me, I'm the kind of person who, especially from doing Zumba for so long and from being an instructor, fitness is one of the ways that I use to recover from bad things and reset my mood and feel happier and just kind of overall improve my life. And actually around that time, I was planning to apply to be a Zumba instructor in New York City. I had my resume ready and everything. And so basically for all of this to be completely taken away from me was just, and especially it being one of the worst times of my life, basically, it was just so devastating. It was I didn't even initially really know how to move forward. And I just kind of kept thinking oh, it's gonna go away, it's gonna go away. And my therapist was this can take a long time. And I was no, it's good. I'm gonna do my physical therapy and I'm gonna recover. And I just remember after working 3 months with them twice a week and doing 1 hour of PT in the morning and 1 hour of PT at night, I was you know what, I think this 3 months is it, and I expected to graduate from physical therapy triumphant and returning to all my classes, and I just didn't. And it was really hard, and I didn't know how to talk about it online because I felt like I was for my community known as a fitness person, and now I wasn't able to do any fitness. I mean, I was doing these really boring exercises. I mean, I couldn't even do squats or lunges. Anyways, I don't want to get into it too much because this is more about the recovery of my injury and not the injury itself. So I want to talk about how I used law of attraction to actually get out of this situation. So the first most important thing was that I made it a point that I wasn't going to give in to the despair, because there were a lot of times where I just felt am I ever going to be able to teach Zumba again? Am I ever going to feel better? Am I ever not going to have pain in my back? And it would have been really easy for me to give into the despair, but I made it a point that I was going to try to stay hopeful. I was going to stay positive. And so I did a lot of work around what I could with my mindset and healing. I basically was looking for any ways of healing, both mentally and physically, because I think those two things are very connected. And I figured out just a lot of ways to try to keep my mindset strong, try to keep myself in a high frequency, while also doing things like doing restorative yoga and doing meditation class, so that where I wasn't able to do more physical workouts, I was able to do maybe more healing workouts, more working on my mind and working on this sounds cheesy, but my soul. All of those things really helped with the overall success, because I think if mentally you're not in as good a space, then the other things that you're trying to do aren't going to be as effective, and you're not going to be able to manifest things with the universe as easily. So if you're interested in some of the things I use to keep myself vibrating at a high frequency, you can sign up for my upcoming free Mindset Makeover training. I'll put the link in the description box below so you guys can get that. Okay, so one of the other things that I did is called scripting or future pacing, which is where you journal as though you are in a future place and you've fully recovered. And so you write basically wow, I'm so thankful that I'm recovered from my back injury and now I'm able to teach Zumba again, and I'm so happy. And you write that in a really detail-oriented way, talk about how you're feeling and what you're doing, and you write it present tense as though what you want to have happen has already happened. So this is a really powerful technique that a lot of people use for many different things, and it's just one of the ones that I used for my recovery. I didn't use this one, I would say, as much as some of the other techniques, but it did help me to try to stay focused on the ideal outcome that I was looking forward to having. Okay, so I think anytime that you're in a situation and something's going on in your life and you aren't happy with what it is, if you're anything like me, and like, I think I've talked about this before on my blog somewhere, but like back in the day when I was in high school, I used to say that I was like Daria Morgendorffer was like my hero, because I just loved how sarcastic and practical she was. And yeah, I think that was really more of like a defense mechanism back then, and it can be a bit of a defense mechanism now. So what I found was that, you know, I had more of a natural tendency to see people like running, right, and think, oh, of course they can run, but like here I am with this back injury, and like I'm never, you know, gonna run, or I can't do that. That's something that really lowers your frequency and isn't really gonna help you with your recovery. So a better thing is to be happy for those people you see doing the things you want to do. Well, in my case, I don't really like running, but like, you know, being active and not limited by a back injury. But like, send good vibes to those people and be like, you know, hey, that's awesome, and that's gonna be me one day. And so me one day, that's like a phrase that I like to say a lot when I feel like I'm stuck in a situation that I don't want to be in and I see other people doing what I want. So I send good vibes and I think, you know what, that's going to be me one day. And that really seems to help me keep a good mental place with what I want for the outcome of my situation. Because like I said, when you're manifesting things, you want to make sure that you're putting the right energy out there and focus on what you want and not focus on the lack. Because if you focus on the lack, you'll have more lack. If you focus on the want, you'll have more of what you want. So speaking of this, along the lines, like, you want to focus on manifesting plus energy. So when you manifest something and you put energy into it, the energy is what makes the manifesting more powerful. So along the same lines as you may see somebody passing you by who's active, or, you know, maybe these things are just kind of coming into your life, I would actually put myself into situations where I would see people doing what I wanted to do and think about how awesome it's going to be when I can do that full out, or I can work out like that, and even try to go so far as to visualize yourself as doing the things that you see those people doing. So for me, like when I was making some progress with my back injury, I couldn't do dance classes full out, so what I decided to do was just start going back to Zumba and just hang out in the back and just go low, because just hearing the music and just like the energy of the class and the smiling and just feeling good and thinking about, oh, I can't wait until I'm teaching again and that's going to be me one day. That energy and just putting yourself into that place is really going to help you be able to manifest more successfully. The one we talked about just a minute ago is that that's going to be me one day, and this is more about just getting yourself into that energy. When you add the energy to the manifestation, it just becomes so much more powerful and really just kind of gets you into like a positive mental state with where you are trying to get to. Okay, so when you're manifesting, you want to also be sure that you're taking action. So you can manifest all you want, but if you are just like sitting at home every day and not doing anything to better yourself, it's not probably going to work, or at least not be as effective. So what I found was that I actually had to take action along with the manifesting. So what I was working on, I had to work on. And so what I ended up doing was, like I said, signing up for physical therapy. I did that for 3 months, and they gave me specific exercises that I could do without injuring myself. And then as I got to the end of my sessions, I started asking, okay, how can I work more exercises into what I'm doing? When can I start doing squats and lunges again? When can I start going to group fitness classes again? And I tried to get timings from them, get cues on like how I can listen to my body and make sure that I'm progressing. And I basically made my own plan and just very intuitively pushed myself towards getting back into those group fitness classes and to doing more advanced workouts. And I'm happy to say that about a year later, I was able to go back to my dance classes. I even did some yoga classes, and now I'm currently a Zumba instructor again and teaching in San Francisco. And this brings me to my next point, and this was my favorite thing that I did, which was actually create a vision board. So some people create vision boards at the beginning of the year for how they want their life to go for that year, or for a particular project. I did a whole vision board on one of those like square scrapbook pieces of paper. It was all about my fitness. So I went through some fitness magazines and I cut out some different activities that I saw myself doing, and they were things like yoga and dance and biking and just being outside. And I think that was one of the most powerful things I could do, because I don't know if you've heard anything about vision boards, but so many people say that all the things they put in their vision board came true. And I have to say, for my fitness vision board, all of those things came true. Bit by bit, I started to be able to go to dance classes, to go to yoga. I even did start biking in New York City as actually like part of my recovery. That was one of the things I started doing actually before I got into my group fitness classes. And that ended up being one of my favorite things to do on the weekends. I would bike like all around like the lower tip of Manhattan and cross over the Williamsburg Bridge and reward myself with delicious brunch and coffee. And it ended up being such an enriching part of my New York City experience, and I never would have done it actually if I wasn't recovering from my back injury. So that was definitely a positive that came out of a negative. But yeah, it was one of the things on my vision board, and I was thinking of possibly making a video all about that vision board in particular and everything like that came true and kind of how those things came about. So if that's something you guys would like to see, let me know in a comment below and I'll be sure to put that together for you. And that's it for my law of attraction techniques I use to recover from my back injury. I'm so happy to report, like I said earlier, I'm teaching Zumba again, I'm active again, and I am so happy that that whole thing is behind me. I really do think that the law of attraction techniques that I used were really integral in my recovery and to helping me move forward in a really positive way. And they actually also really helped me with my divorce recovery as well, which would be also a whole separate video. So let me know if you guys want to see that. If you enjoyed the video, please do give this a thumbs up and consider subscribing, because that really supports my channel. And I have lots more law of attraction videos coming up, different tips and ideas and manifestation stories. So if you're interested in that, definitely do subscribe and hit that notification bell. And I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.